Last week we started the actual scripture. So how many of you want to learn Jain Dharma? To know about it? How many? Do you have frozen shoulders, all of you, like I do? And raise your hand up. Okay, so Jain Dharma જાણવું હોય ને તો there is no better scripture than this. Because આખો Jain Dharma, the entire Jain religion is here in the Sutra, Tattvartha Sutra. So you need to persevere. That's all I'm going to tell you. Do not give up. There are concepts which will come in, which we will try and make easier for you. But if you find that you can't get your head around it, don't worry. Because this is so profound and it's such an amazing scripture. And this is a very rare occurrence in London that a scripture ભણાવવામાં આવે છે. Because it's not something which people teach on a regular basis. So if you are keen, then persevere, do not give up. I'm talking from my own experience because when I first read Tattvartha so many years ago, and I thought, oh my gosh, this just doesn't make sense to me. But then you persevere, ek fere karo, but you ask questions, and some of these concepts keep on being repeated as well in Tattvartha, you will notice. But it is very important that you understand some of the basic things that I'm going to be talking about today. So last week we talked about Samyak Darshan, Nan, Charitrani, Moksha Marg. And what we said was that the only way to achieve moksha is through Samyak Darshan, Nan and Charitra. Samyak meaning complete or Sampurna. There's a word which is used called Sampurna. That is what Samyak means. That means complete understanding of your true nature. Together comes knowledge of what your true nature is all about, and any સાથે તમારું conduct will start changing to the point where it will become so pure that you will have reached moksha. Okay, so this is what Samyak Darshan Charitrani Moksha Marg. Then I said Tattvartha Shraddhanam Samyak Darshanam. So basically this means that jene tattva shraddha hoy. Tattva means the reals. Okay, I'm going to talk about that, so don't worry about it. Jene tattva shraddha hoy, faith hoy, any mate Samyak Darshan is possible. And then the third one I talked about was Ta Nisarga Dadigama Dva. Okay, which means that knowledge can be achieved in different ways, in different forms it can come. So today I'm going to recap, and the first thing I want to talk about is Uttradhyan Sutra. So it says Nadana Sanisa Nanam Nanenam Vina Na Hunti Charan Brunam Agunisa Nathi Mokho Nathi Amokhasa Nivanam. That what it says is knowledge is not rational without rational perception. Rational here is કે જે સાચું છે, જે real છે. At the moment આપણી આગળ during the day or in our life, a lot of knowledge is bombarded at us. Some of it is not relevant to us, some of it is relevant to us. But constantly, whether any media, if you are traveling in trains, if everyone has a phone, the phone you keep on getting messages and stuff. So there's a lot of information which is being thrown at you. But what this talks about is rational. So you are choosing the knowledge which is important for you. Rational means for your life, the knowledge important che. Okay, that is rational perception. That means ene tame jano. You understand that. But rational conduct is only possible, no rational conduct is possible without rational knowledge. So rational knowledge means કે તમારી આગળ ઈ જો જ્ઞાન ના હોય તો તમારું ચારિત્ર બદલે નહીં. You will not be able to change yourself if you do not have that knowledge. And there is no liberation without rational conduct. So that means કે તમે મોક્ષ ની પામો if you do not have that purity of behavior where તમારામાં રાગ or દ્વેષ જરાય ના હોય. You do not have likes or dislikes. You are in total equanimity. When you reach that stage, there is a phrase which is used in the scriptures called Saileshikaran, which means that you actually become like Mount Meru. The analogy given is that you become as steadfast as Mount Meru, as the Himalayas, which do not move at all. And when your conduct within becomes that steadfast, you are in moksha. Okay? So, last week, and I'm going to recap this because there are some new faces I can see. The only way to reach the state of moksha is via Samyak Darshan, Samyak Jnana, and Samyak Charitra. Moksha arrives automatically as soon as complete Darshan, Jnana, and Charitra are achieved. Remember, all three are necessary. You can have Samyak Darshan and થોડુંક Samyak Jnana આવી જાય, પણ જો Samyak Charitra ના આવે તો you will not reach moksha. However, moksha can be in present as well. So the question I'm going to ask you is, how do you think moksha can be in present? And you look very puzzled. Don't be puzzled. Every moment that you live, for example, you are here now listening to me. At this moment, your focus should entirely be on what I am saying. Okay? While I am saying it, તમારામાં એટલું comprehension આવવું જોઈએ કે you are thinking, hang on, how do I apply it to my life? How do I change? What happens to my soul? How do I transform myself? Okay? But while I'm talking, if your mind is, oh, મારે ઘરે છે ને આ કરવાનું છે, or tomorrow I'm going to be doing this, or yesterday this, or an hour before something happened, then you are not in now, and therefore, તમને મોક્ષે કદાચ આવે ને, you will not be able to experience it because you are looking at the past and in the future. Every moment where you are doing any activity, whether you are doing work, or whether you are doing any housework, homework, whatever work you do, or any social thing that you do, you need to be present in that moment. Very few people are able to be like that. એ તમે કલ્ટિવેટ કરો ને તમારામાં, તો તમને there will be moments in your life where you will experience moksha. You will experience that inner peace. તમને જ્યારે અંદરથી એકદમ સુકૂન આવશે, એકદમ શાંતિ આવશે, and you will, ત્યારે જો એક glimpse આવ્યો, and listen to me very carefully, જો એ તમને in that present moment, and you are in that moment, and there is a glimpse of Samyak Darshan તમારામાં, તો તમારી માટે મોક્ષ, જે અલ્ટિમેટ મોક્ષ આપણે કહીએ ને, એ નિશ્ચય છે જ. There is no way that you are not going to get to moksha. Samyak Darshan, if you experience Samyak Darshan, then moksha is going to happen to you. It might not happen immediately, it might take years to happen, it might take whatever ages to happen, but it will happen. So if you are in the present now, and a transformation happens to you within, because there could be, for example, you're listening to some learned person, Sant Purush lecture, કે આપણે મંદિરમાં દેરાસરમાં ગયા હોય ને, there is absolutely lovely atmosphere, અને ત્યારે તમને એકદમ અંદરથી ભાવ એકદમ જાગે તમારા, અને એ ભાવ જાગે, અને in that moment you are there with yourself, તમારામાં જો સમ્યક દર્શન ત્યારે થયું, so you will experience it and you will be able to recognize it. What happens a lot of the times is that Samyak Darshan થાય ને, but your mental state is in the past or in the future, it is not in the now, and you realize something has happened to you, but you do not understand it, you do not recognize it, and it is there like a flash of lightning and it has gone. So this is possible now even for everyone. So Samyak Darshan is a state where a person realizes that one is a soul and one is not a body. Where one accepts the 7 realities. I'm going to talk about 7 realities as they are. Where one does not have rag or dvesh, and one realizes the splendor of one's own self. It is a spiritual awakening. So what I'm talking about for you people is that for all of us is that Be now, learn to live in the present, not in the past or in the future. We do think about the past and we do think we plan for the future and we learn from the past, that is fine. But at any given moment in time, cultivate that state where you are in that moment and you are enjoying that moment and you are enjoying how you are reacting to that moment. Samyak Gnan is understanding the soul and its relationship with tattvas and karma, where one starts assimilating the knowledge. Atyar Sudhi, what you have been given is information. I mean, you've been given knowledge, but what you perhaps could have understood is only information. Information only becomes knowledge if you start assimilating it and you start actually allowing it to penetrate within yourself. Yeah? Atyar Sudhi, do you understand? Is it very clear? Okay, the stuff that comes to you is predominantly information. We only take on stuff that we feel is necessary for our worldly life. અને એ ઘણી ફેર એમાંય આપણી ભૂલ થતી હોય છે. So this is very important કે એ જે information જ્યારે સમ્યક દર્શન થાય, that જ્ઞાન, that knowledge that you have been given, that information, whatever is positive gets transformed into samyak gnan, and that is when you start absorbing that knowledge and assimilating it in your life. And samyak charitra is a state where you are one with your own soul. There is no rag or dvesh. Rag means likes and dislikes. Dvesh is dislikes. There is no activity of mind, body and speech. So मन वचन ने काया एकदम साइलेंट થઈ જાય અને આપણું કોન્ડક્ટ એટલું પ્યોર થાય કે immediately that happens, you are already in moksha. Okay, and samyak darshan and gnan can arise simultaneously and then charitra follows. So charitra always follows after samyak darshan and gnan. Samyak darshan and gnan નું જે ઉત્પન્ન થાય પછી જ તમારું કોન્ડક્ટ ઇમ્પ્રૂવ થાય. આપણે નો ડાઉટ without even having samyak darshan and gnan આપણે અત્યારે પણ આપણું કોન્ડક્ટ સારું કરવાની ટ્રાય કરીએ, આપણું ચારિત્ર, ઇન ધ સેન્સ કે આપણને આપણા પેરેન્ટ્સે કહેવામાં આવ્યું હોય કે બેટા તમે દેરાસરમાં જાઓ તો વિનયથી દર્શન કરવાના, કોઈક સંત પુરુષને મળે તો એને વિનયથી તમે નમન કરવાનું, એને પગે લાગવાનું. વી સે ઓલ ધીસ થિંગ્સ એન્ડ વી ટીચ એન્ડ વી નો. આપણને અહિંસાની એટલી બધી ખબર છે કે વી આર વેરી કેરફુલ કે આપણે જે ભોજન લેતા હોય તો એમાં જેટલી મિનિમમ હિંસા થતી હોય, વી ટ્રાય એન્ડ અવોઇડ હિંસા. By the way, I'm shifting to Gujarati. Is everybody okay with Gujarati, or would you like me to just continue in English? Yeah, because sometimes my expressions, I feel I can express some terminology better in Gujarati than in English. But of course, I will endeavor to speak in English. So, these are things that we've been taught. Yeah? But we do not 100% believe in it. We've been told કે આપણે કરવું જોઈએ. વી બી ટોલ્ડ કે આ બરાબર છે. આપણે જૈન થઈને આ ના કરીએ, બેટા જૈન થઈને આપણે જૂઠું ના બોલીએ, કે we will not lie or we will not steal or we will not do anything wrong, yet we do all those things. To suit our convenience, we will do all those things. Okay, I know loads of parents who said, oh, they came to study and they couldn't get any food, so they started eating eggs. Or that they love cakes and there's no way that cakes are available without eggs, so they start eating. I mean, these are little things. This is not even relevant. But we compromise. Our mind compromises. Our mind is such a powerful tool that it plays games with us and it tries and justifies to us that, oh, no, this is fine. You can do it. But જો તમારું ચારિત્ર મેરુ પર્વત જેટલું strong હોય ને, so you will not move. Your character becomes so strong કે આપણે રામાયણમાં કહે છે પ્રાણ જાય પણ વચન ના જાય, એના જેવું થાય કે you will lose your life but you will not move from your values. And that is the conduct which is the final conduct, where you are so pure in your thought, so clear in your mind, so absolutely sure that this is your right path, this is where you go. At the moment we are not clear. Yeah? Is everybody okay with this? Please stop me if you are confused. questions are allowed, and there is no such thing as કે હું question પૂછીશ ત્યાં stupid હશે, because એ questions કોઈ દિવસ એવા હોય જ નહીં. તમે કદાચ question પૂછો તો બીજાને એમાંથી જાણવાનું મળે. So ask questions. So I talked about the 5 distinguishing marks of Samyaktva are some or spiritual calmness, samveg or spiritual agitation. That means તમને ડર હોય કે હું કાંઈ ખોટું કરીશ તો મારાથી કર્મ બંધ થશે, મને પાપ લાગશે, that ભય અંદરથી આમ genuine ભય હોય. Nirved or spiritual detachment, where you are gradually lessening your attachment to worldly objects. Anukampa or compassion, the desire to remove the misery of those in misery. That means તમારામાં એટલો બધો કરુણા ભાવ હોય કે when you see people suffering, you want to make a change in their lives. And astikya or religiosity, where તમારામાં એટલું you should have that feeling કે કોઈ એવું સે આપણા તહેવાર, for example પર્યુષણ ગયા અને દિવાળી આવે છે, so then you want to participate in Paryushan, you want to go to the Derasa, you want to maybe do Pratikraman, you want to, that whole thing of reverence for yourself and the qualities of our Tirthankars, that you need to nurture in yourself. Okay? So now I'm coming to this one, Tattvartha Shraddhanam Samyak Darshanam. So the inclination towards validly determining the nature of things as they are is Samyak Darshan. So જે છે એને તમે accept કરો, એને understand કરો, the reality which is governing everything, that is called Tattvartha Shraddhanam Samyak Darshanam, which is faith. And the causes of the origin of Samyak Darshan is Tanisargadhati Gamadva. That means Samyak Darshan originates either by nature or in the that is in the automatic course of affairs, or through attainment, that is through external means like instruction, etc. Okay? So it comes through an inclination, attitude or frame of mind which is free from any predisposition or preconceived notions. So Samyak Darshan can arise tamara karma, say when your karmas actually ocha thai, automatically from within yourself Samyak Darshan can come, or when you listen to somebody outside, there could be a catalyst which will happen. Kok tamari life ma એવું આવશે who will hold your hand and say no, this is the way, and ત્યારે તમારામાં Samyak Darshan થાય. Okay? એ પણ કર્મને અનુસાર જ થાય, ઓલું પણ કર્મના અનુસાર થાય ને આ પણ કર્મના અનુસાર થાય. Both of them will happen because of your good karmas. But one can arise intuitively because as a soul, your soul is so superior, it can happen, there is a time when it will just happen. And sometimes you need somebody to tell you to get onto the path. So the example I want to give you here is, so there is a pond, okay? And the pond is covered at the surface with algae. Now there are fish swimming in the water, but the fish are so used to being in darkness because it's always covered in algae. They never know what is beyond the pond because they can't survive in any case outside water. So what happens is the fish swim in the dark. Now what happens is one fish just swims closer to the surface, and as it is splashing around, the algae separates. Now the sun is really bright and powerful, and it shines through the water and it throws a beam of light. And the fish says, oh my gosh, there is light. And it realizes there is something beautiful and bright out there. Okay? But it goes to tell the other fish, come quickly, just see this is beautiful. But by the time it goes, the algae has gone back. So it's in darkness. So what happens is the other fish start laughing at him and saying, oh, you do not know what you're talking about, and you are imagining things, and you are daydreaming and all kinds of things. You are mad, you're going mad, okay? So the fish cannot explain because she has never seen brightness like this, so she cannot. આપણે તો હજી ખબર છે કે આપણે સૂરજનો કિરણ કહે કે we'll say a ray of sunshine. The fish doesn't know in what language how to express this brightness which has come through. So it cannot convey that message to the other fish. So they will never understand how. So this is our state at this moment. What we are is that we are like this fish. We splash at the surface of the water. The algae opens and we get Samyak Darshan. Okay? Samyak Darshan comes but we realize something has happened. But because we've never experienced it, we cannot give words to it. We can only sort of talk about that, oh, it is as bright as the sun and it is as beautiful as this and as lovely as that. But we cannot express because it's something we have never experienced before. It's beyond our comprehension what has happened. But you go and tell others that, oh, yeah, I experienced this. This is the state of Mahavir Swami. I've experienced this. This is the path I'm setting for you. This wonderful path. If you wish to experience the same thing as I have, walk on this path. Some people accepted it, some people did not. Yeah? And this is where belief comes in, that thoruk, you have to have thoruk shraddha. You cannot, questioning is good, but you should not suspect. This is your religion, as I told you last time. This is your heritage. It is your identity. You cannot just pay lip service to this religion. If you want to, if you say કે હું જૈન છું, કે મારી identity, my forefathers were Jain, this is who we are. This is the way Jains talk about. This is our character is built around who we are. If that is what you say, then you need to understand this religion. You cannot just say, oh, dharma che. Yeah, my parents used to go to the temple, but I don't anymore. So then what are you? You are like in the wind. One direction, some other religion will come, they will take you in that direction. Then from that you'll move to another direction. Or you might just say, I do not need any religion in my life because I'm quite successful in what I'm doing and I don't need religion. Whatever it is, if you really feel within yourself that I want to be on this path, then it is very important for you to learn. Is everybody clear? So, yeah.
You said that, you say that there are sometimes people who have glimpses. Is there anyone, would we know of anyone who's having glimpses?
So you say this is the other problem. We look for evidence. Okay? If somebody's had a glimpse, then we.
No, I'm just curious.
No. I'm only joking. I'm not pointing at you, Mahesh. Those people who experience Samyak Darshan will never talk about it. But sometimes you meet people whose vibrations are so positive, whose awareness is so great. You can almost feel that they are of this earth, but they are not on this earth. And I have been fortunate to meet a few of those people. I cannot say કે લોકોને સમ્યક દર્શન છે, but I would like to believe because there is definitely in their presence, you want to just sit and you want to sit and you want to sit and the vibrations are so pure that you never want to sort of leave.
Are these generally spiritual leaders?
Yeah, they are spiritual leaders, but I would never dare to ask them કે તમને સમ્યક દર્શન થયું છે, because that's very rude. But you can make out that there is a lot of positivity. And you will find that there are certain elevated souls on this earth who hold your hand and you can feel their warmth, who just put their hand on you and you can feel positive vibrations. They're not doing Reiki, or they're not doing pranic healing, or they're not doing any kind of things. It's just out of love, they might hold you and you can feel it.
Do the national entity then?
The ones I met are Jain. Okay? As I said, those people who are on the path of Samyak Darshan, Jnana, Charitrani, Moksha Marg, will never say કે અમને આ એક્સપિરિયન્સ થયું છે.
Some who might have it, we not know about it either.
There are people who become spiritually more capable, and then they develop certain labdhis, certain features manifest themselves to them, because we have a lot of these features within us, these qualities within us, except that we do not know because we have not learned how to manifest. But there are some people who either learn how to manifest it, or who have naturally had manifestation of certain energies. But if they misuse those energies to attract people, if they misuse those energies to show you that, oh, and you start sort of worshipping them as God, then it can go into mithyatva as well.
The only thing, the picture you have shown is just things like this Ramakrishna Paramas or.
No, that is actually Srimad Rajchandra.
Sorry, Srimad Rajchandra.
Yeah.
So it's just we have heard so many tales about Vivekananda and his gurus, and like they will not be Jain, so they don't follow Jainism, they will move with the Vedanta and path. But it just simply applies the same theory.
So yes, there have been people who have, but whether they have reached moksha or not, I do not know. Okay, but there definitely have been people. I will not say that those people ne nathi thyu che. I am not in any position to comment. But from their writings like Mirabai che, or Kabir che, or Jalaluddin Rumi che, or some of these Amin Khusru che. These are people, when you read their poems, and Rabindranath Tagore Gitanjali, you read it, then you think that some bigger force was manifesting itself so that they could create such amazing works. But whether that is Samyak Darshan, I don't think so, because Samyak Darshan is a personal experience. This is manifestation of a soul who is elevated, who is a superior soul. That doesn't mean that they have achieved Samyak Darshan necessarily. But it's, as I said, we can't. Ramakrishna Paramahansa, you can't. Yeah. Although when you read his biography, you almost think that, something happened to him. So a worldly soul does not possess rational perception because of its association with perception deluding karma. So apane badhane, as I mentioned to you about the fish, so the algae is like the karma which is up there, and it is causing total darkness in the water below. We cannot see, so therefore we do not believe. But we have to start with a belief that kadach kain hase, and therefore let me at least make the effort to understand. Thai to any krupa che, na thai to I will continue trying. Okay? So this is our state, okay? Because we have gnanavaniya karma, actually darshan moiniya karma. So when that happens, apane, we cannot see this samyak darshani prapti na thai. So thus a worldly soul has to effect or make the effort at subsistence of karma, which is called upsham, or subsidence come destruction, which is called kshayopsham, or destruction of karma. So either we make so that the karmas, જેમ પાણીમાં આપણે mud નાખીએ and you mix it, so the water becomes muddy. Am I right? But when you leave it for some time, what happens? The mud settles at the bottom, and the water definitely becomes more clearer. Am I right? So the same thing is with upsham. So when the dirt settles, okay, the water becomes clearer, and you are able to understand yourself better. And that is where you subside your karma. So jeva tamara karma subside thai, you can actually experience samyak darshan. So apro, people talk about niyati and purushartha. I don't know if you heard that concept. Niyati means whatever has been predetermined is going to happen, and purushartha is effort. So our effort is this. Our effort should be that we make efforts to try and achieve that state of either subsidence of karma or partial destruction. That means some karmas get destroyed and some subside, or total destruction of karma, where you just throw all the mud out of the clear water and you are left with clear water. So this is where our effort should be. Is everybody clear with this concept? What?
Yes.
Oh, you are. So, in order to attain rational perception or samyak darshan, so subsidence come destruction, or destruction of karmic matter can occur through intuition or through acquisition of knowledge. So, this is very important. So, what can happen is that this can happen automatically. So, for example, you've done good deeds in the past, good punyas in the past, okay? Sara karma kaira hoy, then things will happen to you intuitively underneath. At some point, your karmas will go down and you'll be able to experience your soul the way it is. Now, sometimes this moment can, as I said, last like a bolt of lightning, very instant, and you almost see the sky being lit up and you almost see yourself being lit up from within. But the minute it comes, it goes even. But you realize something has happened to you. At times, it can stay for a period of time with you, and at times, it can stay forever with you. So the minute it stays for a second or a period of time, whether it is 40 minutes or half an hour or whatever, that experience is so beautiful that you want to keep it. And therefore, your determination becomes stronger, that you want to make an effort to keep on experiencing this, to the point where you then reach a stage where you are permanently experiencing it. And when that happens, you have samyak darshan. Yeah, so this is something. So intuition is a natural process that can be aroused naturally or through a trigger. Reasoned knowledge is acquired through self-study, religious discourses, and meditation. So sometimes even when you are in a situation where some learned person is telling you something and something strikes you within, and you know, Jain Dharma માં તો એવા કેટલા examples છે. You know, the one thing that comes to mind is Shipal Raja, where he realized that, hang on, there is a king above me, and in that moment a transformation happened. Buddha Bhagwan, Gautam Buddha, he saw these 4 incidences which happened: a young child, an elderly person, a dead body, and a very ill person. And those 4 incidences made him realize that, you know, this world is temporary. So sometimes, as you know, so it's a mixture of two. So these incidences happen outside, but you are ready from within, because your soul is in a state where it is ready. And when these incidences happen, they act like a catalyst, and a transformation happens within you. And that is why I was saying that stay in now, because those incidences can happen to you at any time. And when those incidences happen, you need to be ready from within, that when they happen, you absorb it and a transformation can happen.
Would there be Sarpsham? Would there be Shay?
So that could be Kshayopsham, or it could be Upsham. Kshay થાય ને, so that means you are in samyak darshan completely, where all your karmas have gone. In fact, nirjara completely થઈ ગયો હોય, and then you are obviously in a state of moksha. Yeah, so you reached 14th gunasthan at that stage. So, કોક એવા learned people આવે where you listen to them and they make sense to you. Now remember that you have to use your discerning power. Where ama vivek, the word vivek comes in, where you know, there is a lot of information, there is a lot of people out there who, because we are seeking, we do not know કે આ બરાબર છે કે નહીં. But an intuition will tell you that this is what is right for me. And that is why last time I told you that any religion which can take you to moksha using samyak darshan jnana charitra is the right religion. As far as I know, the only religion I know is Jain Dharma. But You can try and find out. I have tried, but as far as I know, the only religion I know is Jain Dharma. So you need to be ready for people who come into your life for a reason, and they will do something, and some transformation happens to you. But તમારામાં એટલું mental intelligence હોવું જોઈએ કે where somebody comes as a charlatan, as a આપણે કહીએ પાખંડી or somebody who comes like that, you do not get dazzled by them. You do not get carried away with them. You need to be very clear in your mind that this is what I want. If you believe in Jain Dharma, if you have faith in Jain Dharma, try and make that faith stronger, and then you will be able to decide, okay, oh, this is the guru I want to, this is the person I want to listen to, and a transformation can happen. Any questions? Good. So the 7 aspects of reality are Jiva, Jiva, Shrav, Bandh, Samvar, Nijara, Mokshas, Tattvam. Okay? So, Jeev, Ajeev, Ashrav, Bandh, Samvar, Nijara and Moksha. So what do you understand by Jeev?
Atma.
Atma. Who doesn't agree with the word, with that? And what do we understand by Ajeev? No Atma, but there is more to that. Anything which is non-living. Okay, anything which is non-living is Ajeev. Ashrav is what? What is Ashrav? No, that is like an attachment, isn't it? Ashrav actually is an inflow of bad vibrations coming to you. Okay? Bandh is what? Binding. Binding of what? So bandh is where karma or these bad vibrations come from outside and they stick to you.
Not necessarily bad, could be good as well.
For the moment, yes, you are right. But for the moment, let's just look at that. Okay? Then what is Samvar? Stoppage. So what you do is you close all the windows and doors so that these things do not come to you. For example, if there is a storm outside or if it's very windy and all the dust is blowing, you will close all your windows and doors because you do not want your house to get dirty. Am I right? So this is what Ashrav does. I mean, Samvar does. And what is Nirjara? So you shed off karmas, okay? And when you do that, when you totally shed off karmas, mokshas tattva, that means you reached moksha. So these are the fundamental realities. Now, one thing I want to ask you is, Jeev is something that we say is a soul, okay? It's something that is identifiable. Ajeev, we can say this chair is Ajeev, this desk is Ajeev, this sound system is Ajeev. Am I right? It doesn't have a life of its own. Then, what are these Ashrav, Bandh, Samvar, Nirjara talking about here? What they are doing is they are talking about the relationship between Jeev and Ajeev. That is why they are also as reals. So what I'm trying to say is that the real is Jeev, the real is Ajeev. Those are the two things you can identify. The two things વચ્ચે જે relationship develop થાય છે, that is Ashrav, Bandh, Samvar and Nirjara. Ashrav means Ajeev being the karmic particles come to Jeev. Okay? Bandh is where they bind on the Jeev. Okay? Samvar is where efforts are made and they get loose again. And Nirjara is that you stop them, and Nirjara is where you totally shed off your karmas completely. And that is what happens, and then the Jeev remains in its purest form. At the moment it is in purest form, but because of vibrations, you got Ashrav, then you got Bandh, then you try and do some work, so you sort of stop everything. So it's only whatever you are stuck with, you are stuck with. And then you make an effort to get rid of whatever you are stuck with. To say, okay, હવે આ ઘસ્યો ઘરમાં આવી ગયો છે, એને આપણે let's hoover it out. So you take out your nice Hoover Dyson and you start hoovering your house and you get rid of this. So again, you are left with this pure soul. So this is what this verse means. Are you all very clear? Yeah. So these are the tattvas. So moksha is in the middle, and you've got jiva and ajiva, and you've got nirjara, punya, pap, and ban. Now ban સાથે punya ને પાપ એ હોય, okay? અને પાપ is bad karmas and punya is good karmas. So ban ને આશ્રવ સાથે punya ને પાપ હોય. Samvar is stopping punya and pap, and nirjara is getting rid of punya and pap. So we talked about this, okay, soul, inanimate entities, influx of karmic matter towards the soul. Then there's bondage, then there's stoppage of karmic matter, and then there's shedding of karmic matter. And the minute that's shed, you have reached moksha. Now, how does this connect to Samyak Darshan, Jnana and Charitra? Anyone?
So when all the karmas are shed, we get the samyak.
So I talked about, okay, there are different ways of realizing Samyak Darshan, yeah? I said that where you actually get this, Kshayapsham, where your particles, the muddy particles sit at the bottom of the water. Then you get Upsham, where there is part destruction and part settlement, where you get rid of some of the dirt so that there is still a bit of dirt, but it's not as dirty as it was before. And then where you have Kshay, which means you go totally hoovered the place away. So this is when Samyak Darshan happens. So the Jivno state is, it has to be pure. The Jiv is always going towards Samyak Darshan and Jnana. And you remember that all of you here, you have complete knowledge, you have complete Samyak Darshan, and you are all capable of achieving moksha. Mahavir Swamino એ જીવ આપણા જેવો જ જીવ હતો. The soul was like ours. We are all capable, except that we do not know. And that is why perception becomes very important, so that we perceive ourselves as who we really are. At the moment we perceive ourselves as an identity which has been created externally. We do not perceive ourselves internally. You will identify with maybe your qualifications, your name, your position in society, or your in terms of that Anod son or Anod bhai or Anod ben or Anod bhatrij or whatever. That is how your identity is at the moment. But your true identity is that you are a soul. But what is a soul? Soul is only a 4-letter word. Yeah? But it contains the entire universe. So, as I talked about that Jeev and Ajeev, and then I talked about that the interaction between these two entities takes place according to the laws of karma, nature in karma, directed by their respective intrinsic attributes and without the interference of any supernatural entity. So, Barna koi vyakti or no person sitting in the heavens is going to do any magic and do something for you. Okay? No one in the history of time has ever been able to get somebody to intervene in their future or past and say, okay, to change it. It is something that you yourself have to do it, which is why Jain Dharma is very liberating. It's called a liberating religion in the sense that it leaves the responsibility to you. It doesn't leave it to any third person out there sitting there deciding your fate. Okay? So influx or ashra and bondage of karmic particles, stoppage of influx, which is samvar, and nirjara. And the minute nirjara happens, salvation is obviously happening at the same time. So now I come to this one, which is the final one for this evening. We will repeat this again. Okay? Nam sthapna dravya bhav tastanayasa. Okay? So at the moment, I will give an example. Forget about this. I'll close this. Okay? So at the moment, if I say ke Mahavir, what would you understand? If I just use the word Mahavir, what will you understand? You will say Bhagwan. You will all say Bhagwan because you know Mahavir as Bhagwan. But if I were to go and tell somebody walking on the street, Mahavir, what would they say? It's just, either they will think you are swearing at them because they won't understand, but if they are Indian, they will probably say that, oh, you are talking about somebody's name. That is Nam. Okay? That is the name you've been given. Sthapna is what? Sthapna is where you create an idol of Mahavir Swami. So you will create an idol of Mahatma Gandhi. Last week was Gandhi Jayanti. So there are two idols of Mahatma Gandhi. There's one in Tavistock Square and one near the House of Parliament next to Winston Churchill. So people have created this image of Mahatma Gandhi. So they will say Gandhi. Now Gandhi can even be a surname. So it could be, say, Shailen's surname is Gandhi. So we will say, oh, we are referring to Shailen. Okay? But there is a statue of Mahatma Gandhi and they will say, no, not Shailen Gandhi. I'm talking about Mahatma Gandhi. So you are representing a person and any qualities which are a potential which that person has, or the qualities that you look at. So that is Thapna. Then Dravya is what? Dravya is where there is a potential. So all of you can be Mahavir. Okay? આપણે કહ્યું કે મહાવીર ભગવાનનું નામ મહાવીર હતું. આપણે દેરાસરમાં પોટસ બારમાં જાય તો the મૂર્તિ is મહાવીર સ્વામીની. Am I right? Yeah. So you will bow down to Mahavir Swami Bhagwanni Murti. You bow down to the qualities. Okay? The potential is also within you to become Mahavir. So if I were to tell you that you are also Mahavir, you will say, no, I'm not Mahavir. But you are Mahavir because the potential is there. Except that you are not now Mahavir. In the future you could be Mahavir, or in the past you could have been Mahavir. Now you are Shailen because you have not realized your full potential of who you are as a soul. But that potential is latent within you. It is lying dormant. It has not manifested itself. Yeah? So tomorrow if Shailen achieves Samyak Darshan, Gnan and Charitra, people will say, oh, Tirthankar Shailen. Or maybe you can naam bichu ase. But some sort of thing, yeah? And we will all, people in the future will also make a statue of Shailen and worship it. But there was a time when Shailen was not Bhagwan Shailen, he was just an ordinary human being. The same thing with Mahavir Swami. He was Naisar, he was all these various Tripishta Vasudev, and then he was Chakravarti, and then he was a sea, he was a lion, and all kinds of things he's been. At that time, the potential was there because in a Naisarna Bhavma, he had already achieved that knowledge, that not knowledge, but I was talking about somebody holds your hand and guides you. So he was very fortunate that ત્યારે એના પાપ એટલા ઓછા થયા, થોડા ઓછા થઈ ગયા, and he could have an encounter with this Sadhu Maharaj in the forest who taught him this thing, and that stayed with him for many bhavs. So, the other thing that to learn from these stories of Mahavir Swami is that આપણે જે સાંભળતા હોય ઘણી ફેરે, we might not be paying full attention, but sometimes it stays with us and it can help us. So this is what Dravya is, that there is a potential within all of us to become Mahavir. At the moment, it is lying dormant. And Bhav is when you become Mahavir and you are Mahavir. You have manifested yourself completely to your fullest potential. You have achieved Samyak Darshan, Jnana and Charitra. You have achieved moksha and you have achieved total liberation of yourself, and that is what Bhav is. Yeah. So I have run through this quite quickly, but are you very clear? Please, tame mane questions pucho, because this is what it is. I do not want you to go home and feel confused. So just to recap, we said Samyak Darshan Jnana Charitra is the only way to achieve moksha. Then we said that if you have Shraddha in Samyak Darshan, that is the only way you will be able to manifest that true potential within yourself. Then we said that there are different ways in which you can achieve this. You can achieve this either through intuition from yourself or through outside influence. Somebody will come in your life and they will hold your hand, as they did for Mari Swami. Then we said that there are the 7 reals. We said there is Jeev on one end and there is Ajeev on the other, and there is a relationship between those two which is caused by karma. And I gave you this example of fish in a pond, and I said that when the algae separates and the sunlight ray comes through, the fish realizes there is a beautiful world out there which I was not aware of. But you can't tell everyone this, because you tell everyone, people will get bored and they'll start yawning at you. So you try and convince them the best you can, but it is for them to find out. And then we talked about, I briefly touched on this concept of Nam, Sthapna, Dravya and Bhav. Yeah? And then next week we will continue from where I have left. So, are you okay with Tattvartha so far, or is there anything you want me to repeat? Have I managed to confuse you? Oh, damn.
So all this is like you'd be translating, you'd be explaining what's written in Prakrit in the actual.
Yes. So those verses I was talking to you about, those are in Prakrit, except that they've been translated into, they've been written in English language.
So far you've covered how many verses?
I've covered 5 verses. There are 10 chapters, yeah.
Sorry, if you just go back. So where it says 1-4, so 1 is chapter 1, 4 is the 4th verse.
But it's very important for you to understand, because the rest of this chapter is just focusing on all of this. So it's very important for you to understand this, because there will be an explanation of what knowledge is and how knowledge manifests itself in you. So that is what the rest of the chapter will talk about. So this is, the first verse was Mahesh Samyak Darshan Jnana Charitra and Moksha Marg, that is 1:1. Then Tattva Shraddhanam Samyak Darshanam, which is verse 2. Then Ta Nisarga Dadigamadva.
No,
That's verse 3 in chapter 1. Okay, there are 10 chapters. There are actually 254 verses in this whole book.
If you think about it in a sense, that first line is Jain Dharma. It encapsulates all of Jain Dharma. Everything we know about in the sense of ahimsa, nature and reality and all of that is captured in that one. It's saying this is the path to moksha. And Jain Dharma is the path to moksha. The abundant infinite eternal bliss. The path to purification. Then the following verses are kind of like diving deep and expanding that Danyan peel or deep dive kind of thing. And that's what the rest of the chapters do. Unfolding it and expanding each bit more and more.
So last time I gave an example. If you're going to Bristol, you know that you want to go to Bristol. Maybe you've been to Bristol before, but you will plan a journey and you will plan a route map. So you will either Google it, or you will have a TomTom or something to guide you. And on the day itself, you will even check what pointing on. And you also check whether it's A, B or A roads on the side in case if there's a major problem on the main motorway, then you can detour and still reach your destination. And then when you reach Bristol, you'll also perhaps be looking to a place where you can park, because wherever you're going, maybe it's downtown Bristol or somewhere, and you have to look for a place where you can safely park your vehicle. So the same thing happens here. Here, moksha is described. And sorry, let me also clarify you. It is very important for you to understand and appreciate moksha. None of us have been moksha. But it is very important for you to understand, because if you know okay, something is beautiful, is there, then you will make an effort to reach there. If you are told that something, if you go to Bristol, there's nothing in Bristol, there's no one, and say your family says, no, mom, dad, we want to go to Bristol. And you say, why do you want to go to Bristol? Like, there's nothing in Bristol, let's go somewhere else. You'll try and dissuade them. But if you know that there's something nice to see, maybe there's lovely countryside and lovely fields and whatever, and you want to be one with nature and whatever, then you will say, no, that's a pleasant experience, I want to go there. So moksha is a pleasant experience, you have to believe that. So part of your understanding in આપણે Jain Dharma શ્રદ્ધા હોવી જોઈએ, that belief in Jain Dharma should be a belief that moksha is possible. And it is possible. As I told you, all of us have that full knowledge, full darshan, that capability, and we have full virya, we have lots of energy which can manifest itself and which can reveal itself to us. And this is what this Tattvartha Sutra is all about. So from the beginning, Umaswati Acharya has said that the only way to achieve moksha is through Samyak Darshan, Samyak Jnana, Samyak Charita. And then he goes further and he explains, so he explains Samyak Darshan. So I will, the next verses will be talking about Samyak Darshan. Then he will touch on Samyak Jnana. Then he will, later part of the book is about Samyak Charita. And that is what I mean, if you really want to understand the scripture, then do not skip classes, I'm not saying, I'm not forcing it, it's your decision altogether, but you are doing yourself an injustice by not coming, because the entire Jain Dharma is in the scriptures. There is no other scripture, ઘણા બધા આગમોની છે, but no other scripture is written it so absolutely very clearly.
Umaswati himself, obviously, he must have experienced writing like this. Was there an incident in his life or intuition, or is it through an outside influence that he himself achieved something surgery? Because some people something like that, you would assume it was already.
So it is very, very vague about his own life. But what I can imagine is that for somebody to write at this level, they must have reached a certain spiritual capability to be able to write this. What he has basically done is, he has taken our Agams, he has taken the essence and he has distilled it into this, what is called Tattvartha Sutra.
So is that purely scholarly kind of work, or do you think he actually experienced this in himself?
All the acharyas who have written any kind of, and remember that these are only acharyas who have written it, whether they have created any sutras or whether they have written any works, they have not done it from a purely scholarly point of view. They have all done it through an experience and they want to convey and codify. Remember, at that time, a lot of codification of Maharaj Swami's writings was happening, because a lot of the initial things that Maharaj Swami said was verbal, and it was passed from one generation to another, through verbal. So people used to memorize what he said. Nobody had codified it. But it was only towards the later half, after 900 years after Maharaj Swami, that things started happening and started being codified. So this was at the time, well, not immediately, but one or two centuries after, where things started being codified and things started being written. And these are people who were writing, but it was a personal experience. That is why they felt the need to write.
Is there a lot known about Umaswati himself?
own intuition that caused him to write this. From what I have read, maybe I would need to ask Vinod Bhai because he has studied Maswati's life and ask him whether there was that incident or not.
Is it a need for a major incident, something like that to happen in your life for you to achieve that kind of darshan, some tragedy or meditation?
That is why they say you should be going to samshan more. You should be going to seriously. They say that it is better to go to a samshan than go to a wedding because samshan ma tamara ma vairagya aave. You realize that how futile, as I told you, Gautam Buddha experienced this, how futile life is. And similarly, it could be an instance. It's not meant to be crying or feeling sad about. It's also a liberation process where the soul has shed its body and it has moved on spiritually to perhaps a better place. So, but you do not know. But as I said, Samyak Darshan is something that can arise externally or internally, but you have to create those kind of karmas around you so that there is a positivity around you and these things start happening to you. Anybody else?
Is Nam Stapana,
Dravya and Bhav.
Dravya and Bhav, what's the difference in the two?
So Dravya is a latent situation where there is a possibility. Bhav is where you are in its truest sense, the way you are meant to be. So if you were to be a Tirthankar or you are going to moksha, a siddh, okay, then Bhav means that you are manifesting your truest potential. Dravya at the moment you are in like a Dravya state in the sense that there is a potential within you, but it is latent.
If you take the Mahavir Bhagwan, for that, the Nam would be Mahavir Bhagwan, Dravya would be his idol.
No, Sthapna would be his idol.
Stapna would be his idol. Then
Dravya would be his previous lives where there was a potential in him. Jyare Naisarano Bhavato, એ બધા ત્યારે એમાં potential હતું.
And how would be actually Tirthankar?
How would be Tirthankar? Would it be? So like Mahavir Swami's જે છેલ્લી life હતી, he was always in Bhav. He knew since the moment he was born up to the moment he achieved moksha, this is where I want to go. This is my lakshya. This is my goal. Sorry.
Yeah, I was just saying, I think that analogy is similar to when you have a seed and it's got the potential to be like an acorn.
But it's lying dormant at the moment. It's just waiting for the elements like rain and heat to come so that it can start. Okay, thank you very much. So we'll see you next.